Welcome back. The football season has just finished, but those interested in the game are now turning to a new sport. It's called futsal, and we sent Lacey Wilson along to get the score.
It may look like football, but it's futsal. But what exactly is it?
It's five-a-side, it is very, very fast. It relies on skill, vision, movement, all the things that you want to encourage for the outside game, and there are no offsides, so everyone can understand it. There's no arguments in the pub afterwards.
While the rules are simple, the origins are unclear.
Comes from Barcelona, no, it's Portuguese actually.
Futsal is a Brazilian originating game.
The game is played with a heavier ball, which prevents it from bouncing all over the court. It's also played in the summer, which means footballers are able to hone their skills on the court for the outdoor game.
Futsal works fantastically for football players because of the continuousness of the play while they're on the court. They're building up stamina, they're building up vision, they're building up wonderful ball control.
And what makes it enticing to players?
Futsal's a lot quicker and you have to stay on your toes a bit more and just be ready for the ball. Futsal's like more of a skill game and it's faster play.
The way that you can develop skills, the speed of the game, that I can smash myself without getting hurt.
And the sport is rapidly growing.
We've actually brought in a newbies group, which we're starting at 7, 8-year-old and 9-year-olds. And that is awesome to think that we're going to be able to develop that in Christchurch.
The Christchurch Thunder Club has been established out of the growth of futsal to give kids an even greater chance to improve.
Young players coming through, always, the best thing they can do is play small-sided games. By restricting a player's space, you're making them think, you're making them move, you're making them have great ball control and skills. And it's perfectly transferable out into the larger field when they get a bit older.
And with over 500 teams in the country, we can expect to be hearing a lot more about futsal. Lacey Wilson, Metro News.
More than 100 owners and their dogs gathered in Hagley Park to raise awareness for the need of a different kind of guide dog. Gracie Fee took a walk with dogs of a very special kind.
Guiding dogs usually provide an extra set of eyes, but in this case it's an extra set of ears. They're hearing dogs and they're not to be confused with blind dogs.
So how a hearing dog works is that it hears the sound for you and it comes to your feet and it calls you on and you gesture where and the dog leads you to the source of the sound.
The organisation, known as Hearing Dogs for the Deaf New Zealand, raises around $13,000 a year, the cost of training and placing a single dog, resulting in many people missing out.
We only have 8 in Christchurch at the moment. They've done a survey and their predict is for 70 dogs in Christchurch, so we really do need to raise awareness.
When you have a hearing dog out in public, you've got an ambassador with you. So the hearing dog wears a very visible yellow jacket and it says that it's a hearing dog for the deaf.
And while the dogs can save lives in an emergency, more importantly, they're a companion.
For some deaf people that's really a big thing because their world can become very closed off and very isolated. So I guess it opens doors publicly for people, gives them a bit more confidence.
By raising awareness, the foundation hopes to inspire this confidence in many more people in the future. Gracie Fee, Metro News.
Finally, our Volunteer of the Week. This time it's the people from Volunteer Canterbury who are responsible for the organisation of volunteers throughout the province. I went along to join the party.
Happy birthday to us, let's all make a fuss.
The volunteers behind Christchurch's Volunteers. Volunteer in Canterbury celebrated its 22nd birthday at a time when the earthquake has highlighted just how much volunteers have done.
People were ringing in all the time and offering to help, and it was just wonderful. And we had volunteers doing things like taking down chimneys and shoveling silt, and people who'd come down from other towns to help.
The Canterbury quake had the team working to their limits, straight out of Ruth's house the week after the earthquake as headquarters were blocked off. So the birthday came at a much needed time. But this is just one of many years for most of the volunteers.
Well, I guess It probably started at primary school when we were given the opportunity to join the Junior Red Cross, and we all got badges, and I don't know what we did, but we volunteered sort of from about standard 2, you know, from about the age of 7 or 8.
But what is it that keeps Volunteering Canterbury so strong after 22 years?
It's an amazing place to work for a start, and you can come in and meet so many diverse people, and you are always challenged. Like, there's always something happening that's, you know, not the usual thing that you would deal with in other jobs.
And while the party may seem of the older generation, there's no shortage of young people volunteering, and the way to keep in touch with them is through Facebook.
I think there are lots of young people volunteering, but they do it differently. They don't want to do the kind of things we've been doing for 50 years. They want something instant. They want to be using the new social media, and it's a real challenge for organisations to keep up with those young people and to meet their needs.
Whether young or old, all were willing to take a break and reward themselves for being themselves, in a time when Christchurch has never needed volunteers more. Gina Grbic, Metro News. And that's Metro News for this week. Remember, if you have a story you think we should cover, make sure to send us an email at metronews@windowslive.com or call us on 03 940 7572. Join us again on CTV at 7 p.m. next Thursday. Good night.